Welcome back to America Decides. President-elect Trump is giving key diplomatic posts to the fathers-in-law of his two daughters. He's tapped Charles Kushner to serve as ambassador to France. He's also received a presidential pardon from Trump 4 years ago. Now, Kushner was convicted on several counts, including tax evasion and in a sex scandal revenge plot to lure and intimidate his brother-in-law. Trump has also tapped Massad Boulos to serve as senior advisor on Arab and Middle Eastern affairs. His son, Michael Boulos, is married to Tiffany Trump. For more on all of this, let's bring in our political panel, Joel Payne and Maura Gillespie. Joel is a CBS News contributor and a Democratic strategist, and Maura previously served as an advisor to former Republican House Speaker John Boehner and former Republican Congressman Adam Kinzinger. Thank you both for being here. We appreciate it. Maura, I want to start with you. Let's talk a little bit about these new selections that Trump made. What does it say about him that he is kind of giving some of these positions to members of his extended family?
You know, it's no surprise in Washington, D.C. that it's not always what you know, but it's who you know. And Trump certainly seems to be taking that to the nth degree here in some of his appointments. You know, I think I'll leave it to the senators to decide during these several, during confirmation hearings to see, the substance behind these selections, aside from just the loyalty factor, which that's not a criticism. Obviously, you want to have people around you who you know that will support you as president and will do, kind of what it is that you're hoping to accomplish in your administration. So that part isn't the criticism. I think, though, then it becomes what's the qualifications that they have to have those positions. And especially in something that is as important as the Middle East, and especially what we're seeing play out right now, some of the selections that are being chosen do cause, I think, a lot of Republicans, but also Americans wide, cause for concern as what their objectives may be and who's really got the ear of the president-elect at this moment.
Yeah, and Joel, as Maura alluded to, I mean, ambassador positions are often given to big donors or, close, friends or family members. But what's interesting about the Kushner appointment is that he received that pardon. So that brings me back to you as a Democrat. What are you making of Biden's pardon of his son?
I think I'm just trying to process, what does Donald Trump think is the reason why he won? Donald Trump has like an opportunity with this second term to kind of change some public perception about himself, but it doesn't really seem like so far he's interested in doing that. Like if Donald Trump thinks the reason why he won is because the American people want him to go wild, go MAGA, hog wild, go as far right, go as extremist as he wants, bring in all of his loyalists, have them do his bidding for him. Okay, that's a read of the electorate. I don't think that's an accurate one. And I think that Donald Trump has a history of overreaching. He overreached in his first term. It seems like he's poised to do the same thing here. And I do think that the American people are going to have an opportunity here to start to get a sense of what Donald Trump views his charges in the second term. Is it to look out for them and their best interests, or is it to look out for himself and his best interests?
We've had several Democrats who have been very critical of Biden's decision to pardon his own son after he repeatedly said he wouldn't, then he did. How are Democrats feeling about this and kind of where it leaves Biden's legacy, but also where it leaves kind of the Democratic Party?
This is a mixed opinion issue, and I don't want to make it seem like it's simple. Presidents have the pardon power. They use it very freely. This is not uncommon. This is not illegal. This is not outside the law how he's using it. It is politically unhelpful right now for Democrats in a moment where they're processing the results of the last election as people don't like Washington insider business, the fact that Washington looks out for Washington. This can be read that way. I also think it's fair to say that Hunter Biden was mistreated by the criminal justice system. He was targeted unfairly. He received penalties and he received scrutiny that he might not have received if he wasn't the president's son. And Republicans have essentially run a multi-year campaign knowing that this is someone who struggled with substance abuse to essentially try to goad him back into substance abuse. I mean, that is ugly. And so I think you have to be able to hold both of those things true. Republicans, I believe, were a bit unfair with how they put the spotlight on Hunter Biden. I also think that Joe Biden probably did a thing here that's politically not going to be helpful for his party, that's going to have to deal with this in the aftermath of him being in the presidency.
Yeah, and is in the process of rebuilding after these big losses. Maura, I want to ask, too, about some of these other nominations that the president-elect has put forward. I mean, Kash Patel really sent shockwaves through Washington with that pick, even though it wasn't surprising. Obviously, if you listen to the way that Donald Trump campaigned over the past year and wanting to essentially disrupt most Washington institutions, especially the Justice Department. I'm wondering how, Republicans are reacting to that pick. I mean, it seems like there's some broad support there, but still, while they have the majority, Republicans do have a relatively narrow margin. I mean, they can only lose 3 senators.
And I think with a pick like Kash Patel, and I think there are a couple others that are going to have a really hard time convincing the Senate that they are up for this job and that they are qualified. And I would say Tulsi Gabbard is also one of those that I am deeply concerned about, especially as you're watching what's playing out currently in Syria and her affinity for Bashar al-Assad. So I think that it's really important, for senators to take these confirmation hearings and really dig deep into what's going on and the stances like Kash Patel has had, conspiracy theories, targeting members of the former president and president-elect's administration, but also President Biden's administration. He has a whole list in his book about who he would go after. And so I think it's really important that we take this very seriously. Again, these positions aren't, I don't want to say just, but an ambassador position. These are leading our intelligence, our security, and our safety of the FBI. So those are 2 positions that are about American safety. And we have people who are only looking out to one, Donald Trump, or in Tulsi Gabbard's case, has really questionable stances when it comes to Russia, Syria, and Iran. So it's definitely things that the Senate will have to take a good look at. I don't think that Republicans wide necessarily know a whole ton about these 2 people, and that's the Senate's job, is to educate America and ask the questions that need to be asked.
And thankfully for everyone, the hearings are all public. Joel and Maura, thank you so much. We appreciate it.